because the rumors have been going on about P. Diddy, earlier Puff Daddy, for years now. And myself, I've even heard some of the stuff like more than 6 months ago. And when I heard it, and I'm not even following the music industry today, but still it came to me. And the stuff that I heard is far worse than anything that P. Diddy is right now being apprehended for. Because everything that he is being apprehended for is within the realm of, shall we say, heteronormativity. Whereas the stuff that I heard wasn't that.
Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about that last night, how for years there's been tons of accusations about Diddy, most of which revolve around the fact that he ain't straight. Right? Like, that's the thing.
Okay.
And now we got some tape.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to play this here, Andre?
Yeah.
I don't know about the whole thing, but...
Well, play select a bit, and then I have another clip to play afterwards, but I want to hear...
Okay.
I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I was like a sex slave, okay? For them, that's what I was. That's all right? I caught herpes, and I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But Diddy and Ross, which they're good buddies, okay? They're gay.
I don't know if you need me to show any more than that.
I think that's quite sufficient.
Yeah.
But Andrew, can't you go through the gist of what he is being accused of and what he's facing here?
Yeah, and I heard some audio. I'm going to play it tomorrow when I stream on this. But I heard some audio also recorded by another party of apparently, allegedly, Mr. Sean Combs and another male engaged in activities. But that said, he's being alleged of essentially trafficking, prostitution, and other related associated criminal offenses related specifically to these women that he corralled as part of this operation in a criminal manner. And obviously, this is something that's been talked about. This is something that has been speculated about. Also, we've kind of known about some of this from the footage that we've seen leaked. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but that footage from the hotel hallway where he grabs the woman as she's kind of
throws her around and hits her and shit.
Throws her around and hits her. In fact, I think we watched that together, like even a couple months ago. And we all had an inkling that something is going on. This shit is not normal, right? It's not something that you would normally have going on. And now we've seen the Justice Department dropping an indictment, the United States versus Sean Combs in the Southern District of New York with, and I'm reading right now, I believe we've got a couple criminal counts, 3 counts, transportation to engage in prostitution, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and I think in racketeering conspiracy, right? So he's facing some serious time here. I mean, this could be up to life in prison if he gets hit on all 3 of these counts. So he's facing some serious criminal time on these for these allegations, and they're very salacious. I mean, they involve 1,000 bottles of lube. Where else are you going to hear about that?
Not just lube, but baby oil, I thought it was.
Yes, baby oil.
Which I would not recommend using for lube because it can weaken condoms, by the way.
I'm not as expert as you, Tom. You're the subject matter expert.
I was told about this by 6, so there you go.
The
more you know.
Subject matter expert.
The more Tom knows. See? But yeah, so there you go.
We offended Chato so hard he had to disappear.
No, he had to run. Actually,
we offended his connection out there in the big wilderness.
Well, with 1,000 bottles of baby oil, it's easy to slide out. but that said, this is a very serious accusation, and once again, expect more people to come out. Now, one thing I do see with all these criminal accusations, obviously we've seen this in at large, is there's going to be a lot of people coming out, and as much as I want to believe it and want to believe everything, we do have to, like we mentioned with the other topics, do our own due diligence, be very careful at sorting out each one. There are people out there that will be genuine victims coming out, and genuine victims making statements on this, people that were former employees that were put in these positions, that are men and women as well.
Because this is going back almost a decade, right? Sorry.
More.
But there will also be people that come out that are just looking for their 2 cents, that are just looking for their moment in the sun.
Well, everything I've seen so far says the accusations stem back to 2008 and 2009. So that's the farthest so far that I know.
That leaves a really wide field for people to come through the woodwork and say that they were taken advantage of.
That's why I said decade, but
yeah, that's a lot of time. I mean, think about the Cosby situation. Think about other situations that have been going on for years.
So yeah, it's actually been just this. So you're going back. So 2008 would be what, 14 years or 16 years? My math's fucked. My brain's fuzzy.
What I'm saying is like
a decade and a half. It's a decade.
Let's say it's a decade.
15 years.
If he's a degenerate, right? Over 1,000 people. I'm not exaggerating. Like if he was doing these things for years and cycling people through, easily over 1,000 people could be affected by this, could have been genuinely involved in this. Easily over 1,000. So we could see 10,000 people come forward, and if only 1,000 of those are legitimate, that's still a horrible, terrible thing. But I'm just very thoughtful of that as somebody who covers these topics on a regular basis and sees this as these things are filed and as people come out.
And here's the really cool thing, because he wasn't alone in this. As you said, I mean, there may be 1,000 victims, and there could be 10,000 people that were party to this, that were involved with this. I mean, here we have a full-on Epstein situation on our hands here in terms of scale. This may even be bigger in a sense in terms of the people involved. And this is one of the absolute seniors in the music industry. One of the things that I have heard is that this can bring down the entire industry, because there's so many people that have some kind of dirt here. And this guy apparently filmed everything. And I do believe this is part of the reason why they chose to go to this step, because there's evidence, and that means they can't lose at this point. Unfortunately, we do have to lose Andy Meon, but I'm so glad that you could join us today.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, I have to go because my new video just got age restricted, and for no reason whatsoever. So
I hate it when that happens.
Well, good luck with that, man.
Yeah, so now it's going to get no ad revenue and everything. So now I got to go deal with that now. So I just hit a very nice snag in my day. So that's great.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Well, before you go, the mum says for $4.99. Friday headlines: Andy Meon arrested after birthday celebration gone wrong. Representing him, Andrew from Legal Mindset. My client didn't trash Sweet Baby.
And even if he did, he didn't say anything that was untrue.
But he does make some of the damn best gaming content out there. So guys, make sure that and even though he's going, you guys make sure you go and subscribe to his channel.
God, man, I hate when this happens. You guys
get
know
it figured out, man.
Oh, we know
when
exactly
things get age restricted, you lose all the revenue on it, and like,
yeah.
I think you'll get it figured out, man. Just get it reviewed and hopefully.
Well, we have a clip here that may get this from age restricted as well.
I'm going to go for now. So see you guys.
See you.
Take care, brother.
You guys.
Thank you.
See you.
But yeah, Tom, I sent you a tweeter behind the scene. Let's bring that up right now.
A tweeter? That's a new one.
This one, exactly. Here we go. I thought this one was interesting.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. What we're about to hear right now is pure allegation. None of this is factual. Nothing is proven in a court of law. So I just want to hear Andrew's thought on this from a purely hypothetical what-if perspective. Why could this happen? Yeah, carry on, Tom.
I was going to say, before I hit play, somebody out in the chat, or even Andrew or anybody else, remember, I swear, for some reason, as all of this is starting to come back to me, I'm remembering like 25 plus years ago, there was this guy named Mace, who always hung around with Puff Daddy. If you remember, he was in like the Mo Money, Mo Problems video, and he even had his own album and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, he just up and fucking disappeared. And from what I remember, if I'm remembering this correctly, because it's been so damn long, please somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Like Mace just is like, he's like, yeah, this shit got too wild for me, and I couldn't take the industry anymore, and I had to go find God. And I'm wondering if that's all connected too. Like he just seen some of the shit that was going on with Diddy, and he's just like, peace, I'm out, right? Because do you guys remember this guy or not, Mace, at all? Am I wrong? Okay,
I mean,
was early on, yeah.
How many people were probably like, this is exactly what I think, Andre was hinting at there, and you guys are getting at, is how many people were brought to one of these things by Diddy where he recorded that and probably was recording them while they were there, right? Participating in this and seeing this. And it's sort of like, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Like the Epstein Island stuff. Once you've been there, it's like, you're in now, right? You've seen shit. You're part of this. So how many people, like you say, came and watched or knew or were there, and now they've got to keep quiet, right? Now they're muzzled. Right. So it's very interesting how deep this rabbit hole will go, because like you said, he's a huge figure in the industry. He knows a lot of people. He knows powerful people, and
that opens the question, why is an investigation opened into such a powerful individual in the first place? That's why I thought this clip here with this allegation, which is purely hypothetical, I just thought it was interesting. Yeah, let's play it.
And then I got a follow-up from 6 after I play this with what I just said.
They sacrificing Diddy. They said, nigga, you gotta take this shit because we can't be involved. But Diddy's smart. He filmed every fuck session. So he was fucking Clive and the motherfucking freak boy that run Universal Music Group. So he got them on some fuck tapes. Now, that's why they raiding the house, because they got friends in Homeland Security and the feds. And they said, get in there and get them tapes from this nigga. He trying to blackmail us. That's what I believe is going on. They sacrificing Diddy.
Yeah, so basically what he said there is that basically you have heads of the record label that Diddy has on tape doing stuff of a slightly less legal nature. And Diddy, apparently, this is the allegation, he is blackmailing these people. These people have friends in Homeland Security, and they went to Homeland Security and said, okay, this guy is now coming for us. Time to end this. Here's what you need. Now end him. This is the allegation, that he may have tried to blackmail some people that had friends that didn't take kindly to that. Again, purely hypothetical, but does this seem at all plausible from a hypothetical point of view as to why they would go after?
You cannot rule it out at this point. And at this point, especially when you're forming like theories of the case, when you're looking at these things, you can't rule these things out right away. And they have enough, like there's enough of a theory there that you have to say, this could be a thing. And this is what you have to put together with these indictments is, what is this telling us and what is this not telling us yet, right? Because we can get this blowing up in a way we never, ever thought about, particularly, like you said, involving frankly, the men, right? And the men coming out and saying, hey, this was something that was used against me. This was something used as blackmail, or, maybe this is something that I was forced to participate in, right? This was hey, you have to come participate in this, right? There's a lot of rumors. In fact, this happens in the entertainment industry internationally, right? About, folks who get into certain industries and having to engage in sexual activity to get into that industry. The whole sell your soul. Well, it's also, sometimes a sell your whole, right? Sort of situation to get into certain industries.
Right.
And, what if that was the Diddy deal? Was you have to go to the freak off and you have to get involved. You have to get into it. And that would be a massive thing. And you can't rule that out. Even if that ultimately is not true, you can't rule that out at this point. In fact, it's plausible. It's not just possible. It's indeed plausible that this was the thing.
Yeah. You know what I'm thinking? With all of the people that may be implicated in this, because as they start sifting through this, depending on if the previous video has something, I'm sure there's some record label heads which are going to be protected. But beyond that, there's a lot of people that can go down the drain with him. As I heard someone say, this can take down the entire music industry. And that, just guys, remember Jussi Smollett, when he was in court and he was sentenced, remember what he said, which was completely ridiculous? When he basically said that I have no intentions of killing myself. I have no intentions of killing myself.
I am not
that word that begins with S that we cannot say on stream here.
Right.
But he made it so clear. I am not that. I think maybe it might be in Diddy's best interest to start making some stuff, some sentences like that, if not for posterity. And he would also probably want to make sure that all the security cameras around his cell and stuff like that are working. At all times.
Yeah, and I'm only laughing, and not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing at Lauren, like, yeah, because you're probably serious. And yeah,
I am serious. I'm completely serious.
Well,
this guy can take down the music industry.
Well, he can do more than that, probably. That's the thing. And here we got Mace. Here's the guy I was talking about. So yeah, he's kind of backing up basically what I was saying here. He's like, yeah, I'm good, man. Reparations is getting closer. And he's saying that because he means that he knows that now the crosshairs are on Diddy. And I think he knows what's going to come out. So that's the thing, is it's like, I'm not, here's my point to this. Like, remember when Johnny Depp got accused? Because I know you followed that quite well, Andrew, obviously.
Yes.
One of the best ones doing it.
You know, when as soon as the accusations come out, all the people that have known him for the past 30, 40, 50 years come out and said, that ain't Johnny. I don't believe that. I ain't heard one person come out and go, that ain't Diddy. I don't believe that.
Exactly. There would be a wave of people coming out. Exactly right. There'd be a wave of people saying that's not him. That's not who he is. It's not what he does. Versus people saying, yep. And people for years. I mean, look, I don't like Eminem for various reasons, right? But I mean, hell, even Eminem's been talking about it for years. I mean, it's something that, you know,
it's like Weinstein, basically. Yeah, sorry.
No, we've been talking about this for years. Now, what exactly they've been saying is different, right? People have been saying he's dirty, he's committing crimes. They haven't been specific about that, right? Obviously, there's things that go back to the East Coast, West Coast beef. Obviously, we have the Biggie Tupac stuff, right? Historically, with Diddy. But yeah, there's all the fingers say that Diddy is dirty.
Well,
right?
And like I was saying last night,
discovering how dirty he is with the freak offs, right?
You got to remember
a little bit
how hardcore like Suge Knight is, right? When they finally got his ass, and that was on almost just basically like because he got lucky and they caught him in the act of doing something, right? Because he literally ran over somebody on the set of the movie for the NWA movie. Yes. Straight Outta Compton. I was trying to remember the name.
Yes.
So that's the only reason they nailed him, right? And if anything, it's like if Suge's as bad as he is, Diddy's got to be twice as hard or just as bad in some ways to keep up his way he has been all these years, right? Because let's not beat around the bush here, right? Y'all know how Suge Knight ran shit, like a gangster, like a literal gangster, not with an A. Okay, so if you don't think that Puff Daddy ain't somewhere in the same region, then I got a bridge to sell you, because there ain't no way you're making look. Because like Andre pointed out, if you got dirt on somebody in the music industry, there's only 3 major players in the music industry anymore. It's not like it used to be. There's Universal Music, there's BMG, and there's Sony, basically, and Warner Brothers. And they're all working together at the end of the day. So, because the music industry is not what it used to be. And this is where I was saying before, is why is this happening to Diddy? It's either because, like Andre said, he's pissed off the wrong people, or, as I pointed out with Cosby and Weinstein as examples, they are losing their power. Hence, they're not as useful as they used to be. So guess what? Time has come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Like they've lived past their usefulness, right? You know, every villain, right?
Let's assume for a second that that Diddy does live. And I mean, we're talking RICO charges here. So assuming that all the security cameras and stuff like that is working and there's no opportunities and everything, this goes all the way, and there's going to be plenty other trials for every other celebrity and stuff you've heard about in the music industry. But leave that aside. What's going to happen to him? What kind of... He's probably going to spend the rest of his life behind bars, isn't he?
Yes, that would be a life in prison situation. And like I said, if Diddy gets put in on this, I mean, one way or another, I think he's not going to be serving out that life in prison, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's going to be bad. I think that the best thing, the only thing for Diddy would be to somehow plea out of this, but I don't see how they can let this thing kind of drop. I mean, it would have to be him pretty much entering into a plea deal that says he did all the things without going to trial. And, you know, I think this is something that that it involves too many people. It involves so many people.
Yeah, I think it's going to go deep. I think you're right.
Yeah,
it may even go deeper than
know.
Epstein, right?
Deeper than Epstein and more recent people that people know, because a lot of the Epstein folks, you know, were like the power players that people don't
rich
know.
elites and shit. Yeah,
exactly. That's like the thing. I don't think it's going to go deeper, but it goes more celebrity. It goes more famous.
Yes,
that's kind of where I'm coming from. Thank you. Yeah, that's where I'm
it's going to be more viral. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, it's going to be way more viral, right? So this is like the
worse,
viral,
but this is more salacious.
Exactly. Epstein is worse. This is going to get more clicks.
Yes.
Well, because the accusations here, you've got human trafficking, you've got several other kind of related that I can't even say on stream, basically related charges to when it comes to using people, let's say. So, I mean, there's that stuff. Well, a lot of these things are very illegal, especially like, we have no idea the ages of these people, right? Like, that's one thing that hasn't even really been discussed, because that's another thing is in the past is the allegations about ages of some of these folks, right? So what if it starts coming out that some of these people are minors? You start getting into, you know, taking them across states and all this other shit. That's all kinds of federal stuff, right, Andrew?
Would not be surprised. Would not be surprised if, you know, once again, we talked about the volume here. If you're dealing with 1,000 people, 10,000 people, however many, you think that in probabilistically one or two of them at least might have been a minor. Who knows, right? Once again, were they checking IDs? Were they getting background statements? Or were they taking anyone who's willing to come in and, you know, jump into the 132 gallons of baby oil? Right, which is exactly how much 1,000 bottles equates that to. I mean, this is like a fish tank's worth, like, of baby oil here, at a minimum, right? Assuming the small bottles. So this is some crazy.
I'm sure he's not buying industrial, yeah.
Exactly. This is some crazy stuff. And once again, I'm not positive that there's not something deeper. In fact, my intuition here is that this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I think there may even be more charges coming down, even from a federal sense. We may get, as we get discovery, as we get people testifying, people coming forward, we may get more charges layered on here. The one weird thing is this intersection with Trump and, you know, this whole situation that happened with the you know, guy who came to shoot up Trump's property.
Right.
Also being involved with Diddy, that just makes it way more complicated, way more messy. And, you know, it's giving me like MK Ultra vibes when I hear about stuff like that.
Well, and we already have a situation where the two people who have taken shots at him already have been involved with BlackRock, right? So, like,
and by the way, Diddy, and I post this on X, but, you know, deeply involved with the Kamala Harris campaign, so much that they were the Harris Biden campaign, so much they specifically have thanked him multiple times, thanked him for his work regarding coronavirus, etc. So there's a lot of ties there as well.
To say nothing of the rumors that I'm not going to say anything more about, other than the rumors of him and Obama. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes, yeah. Old Barry, old bathhouse Barry.
And this is kind of the reason why I'm like saying that this guy right here, he better make sure the security cameras are on.
Yeah, he better invest in the security cameras and a lot of security for himself.
Well, and I saw in the chat here, I'm trying to find the actual comment here, but I can't find it. But Andrew, the toy man himself,
Tom,
Andy
while
Masterson.
While you are looking,
I'll just read
I'm
it since
going
I got
to,
a screenshot of it here.
Okay,
Says,
fine.
Tom, our friend who used to work in Hollywood, told me about a young rapper and Diddy from 20 years ago. So what I'm assuming is that Andy is implying that he's heard similar things too.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised. Plenty people will have heard that.
Yes.
And
thank you, Six, for grabbing that for me. By the way,
absolutely. And then we got this one here. This is one I wanted to bring up. Mexican Iron Man says for $10. Andrew, as an expert in Disney core messaging, I cannot believe you would ever question Disney integrity. I think from tax districts to corporate interviews, Disney execs only lie.
I would never, ever besmirch the good name of the Walt Disney Corporation. Never would I do that for years on end.
How about the Bob Iger Corporation?
The Bob Iger Corporation, that's a whole different story. Story. No, but to be fair, look, once again, it just falls inconsistent with our reporting, our coverage, what we've come into. So at this point, I'm smiling because like, yeah, of course, it's like it just all fits together. It's like it's almost as if the world is saying, yeah, you're right. Here's a little thank you for you being right, because we've been saying this like crazy people, and we have been saying. But we've been treated as if we are crazy for saying there's a bias by Disney, by ABC, by mainstream media. And this is just verifying. And it's just like, oh yeah, clearly this was happening. Clearly this bias happened. Clearly there was a communication here. Clearly the Harris team was fed this information, right? And Trump was not. Clearly the fact checking happened on one side and not on the other, right? Because if you did the exact same sort of fact checking to Harris, you'd be stopping every statement as well. Right.
Well,
so,
yeah.
It's once again, if you're going to do it, that's fine. Like if they're going to do fact checking, look, I'm okay with the debate where there's fact checking, but it needs to be real, like community notes on X level fact checking. Right. So it needs to be hitting everybody equally when they make a false misstatement, which is, by the way, what I feel, at least they don't do a perfect job, but they do a pretty damn good job compared to anything else there when it comes to fact checking regarding that. The community notes.
I agree completely. I mean, it's the only place because I see it everywhere. I see it as an outsider looking in, and as a YouTuber who is quite used to doing my own fact checking. What I see is that the media's fact checking, more often than not, isn't so much fact checking as it is whitewashing the lies that they want to whitewash. Mm-hmm. And it's extremely selective. Like, for instance, they'll find, okay, here's a claim from someone we don't like that we want to besmirch. So we're going to angle it this way, and we're going to find a completely ridiculous thing, and then we're going to fact check that. So that it's going to say fact check false. And if you read the detail, then you'll see that we were completely ridiculous. Like, for instance, one example that just springs to mind because Tim Pool uses it so often. It's in this this case where the Trump campaign accused the Hillary campaign of deleting all these emails using some. I don't exactly remember which term was used, but then they fact checked and said no, fact check incorrect, because no, Hillary did not use bleach to wipe out emails or anything like that. It was just something with the terms used. They didn't go into the actual accusation, which was did she delete? No, she didn't use liquid bleach.
Yes, she didn't use actual bleach to delete a software file. She used a program. But because of that, it's false because it wasn't bleach.
Exactly.
Right? It's like, well, yeah, but you didn't answer the underlying question. Right?
And
it's the
you
same
have
thing
to say
as executive.
Exactly, and you have the same thing here. Because this is what I see, like, for instance, now all over Europe with the corporate media, including in Norway, like all the fact check here say, no, ain't no dogs or cats being eaten because this official politician said so. And we are completely going to ignore all of the eyewitness testimony saying that kind of happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, for example, taking statements from the UK government about what's going on in the UK instead of taking statements from the UK people.
The
right?
UK is crazy right now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly. It's like, no, I'm going to believe the people. Also, there's video. So like, I'm going to look at the video and I'm going to look at what the people are saying and I'm going to use that because that's just as good. In fact, I find that to be more reliable evidence than what the government is telling me. Of course, a city manager, by the way, I was a city manager. I was a city manager, a town manager, but once again, the same thing, just a matter of size. But I was a town manager for 2 years, right? So I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, as a town manager, if there were a bunch of refugees that I let into the town that I permitted to stay XYZ, I said, yep, we got space for them. We're going to let them here. We're going to, permit this. So we let this happen on my watch. There's no way in hell I am ruining my entire career by saying this is happening. Because as a city manager, you will never be hired anywhere else in the world if you are the city manager who allowed a bunch of people to eat cats and dogs on your watch. You're dead. Your career's over. Right.
So it might be in your best interest to pretend that never happened.
Yes, exactly. You're going to 100% deny that, or what they actually said is there's no evidence of it. It doesn't mean it's proved. They're saying we don't have conclusive proof of this from law enforcement, right? Exactly. Once again, reading those statements a little bit more.
And ignore all the witness and the videos and stuff like that. That don't count.
Exactly. We're just going to ignore that because you know what? The police didn't confirm it. And until the police confirm it, they've got Fido in the body bag pointing to, the guy out of Port-au-Prince, right? We're not going to verify this. And of course, at this point, they also have the mayor, everybody else, law enforcement has a political vested interest in denying this. So,
and I also remember Fido was eaten, so there's not so much to leave in the body bag.
Sorry.
So,
even the bones, it's going to be hard to get through.
Exactly. And STR Red Wolf clarifies that there's a file wiper named Bleach Pit, among others. Oh, there you go. That's one that makes it easy for them.
See, there you go. Yeah. So it's like they used bleach, and it's like they didn't use bleach, they used bleach bit. So false.
Exactly. There you go. I mean, that's I really hate fact. Like, I've learned to distrust fact checking for that very reason. Now, community knows. That's what everyone should trust. That's the truth. That's reality. That's trusting always trust the chat, and the chat is community notes.
Mm-hmm. And they're vetted, they're vetted, they're rated, right? Like Snopes, if you were vetting and rating Snopes, they would fail every single time. And like I said, most of these organizations are actually owned by the people they're supposed to be fact checking, which is the insane thing.
Completely. Let's move on here. Inslater says for $5. Diddy has hands in music, sports, fashion, movies, politics, etc. He could be the linchpin to expose everything and everyone. Yeah, and I don't think that, hey, if you let me go, I'll give you JC. I don't think that's going to fly. I think they'll be like, yeah, we'll take him too, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, there's people in all of those industries that could come out and be exposed. So I'm just waiting to see the lists because once again, we know, and there's much more probability with this coming out than there is with the Epstein list, just because of the visibility on it and how many people's eyes are going to be on this. What the Jeffrey Epstein case, I don't want to say benefited from, was like you said, that most of these elites that people don't know, and despite it being heinous, it was kind of kept off the radar. But because this is something that every celebrity gossip rag is going to tear their teeth into, it's going to be something that they can't scuttle completely.
At least I think the independent online ones, but there's so many of them, and they're not going to be able to keep their hands off of this. The corporate ones probably will be selective. But the
crazy thing is, this has been initiated by in New York, to be fair, under a Biden administration. So it's very interesting that despite some obvious risk here, they've gone and done this. So we'll see what happens going forward here. I'm very, very, very interested in it, and obviously I'm going to go through the full indictment tomorrow on my channel, which is actually why I need to go to bed. So
yeah,
it's been great hanging with you guys.
I'll let you go in 1 minute. First,
sure.
Course Radic Power says for £2. Eyes Wide Shut was a documentary. Simple as that. Stanley Kubrick wasn't screwing around. I'm just going to check if there is something else here for you. Yes, there is. Marksman of 117B says for $1.99. Legal, where is your cute anime girl introduction?
You'll just have to watch my channel tomorrow. I know we don't have individual introductions like it's a manga, right? Or like a baseball game where like each person has their intro music, and like mine's cute anime girls. But that said, I will have lots of waifus for you tomorrow, and then I'm also doing my members only stream, which is going to be going through a bunch of fun clips. So lots of anime there. Also, I'll be doing an anime episode probably this week or next. I'm trying to get some good guests on from some people I haven't seen to talk about a lot of what's going on right now with weird Western people getting involved in anime, which has a lot to do with Netflix showing more anime. And it's leading to some of the most toxic debates I've seen. And I mean that not in a woke sense, but like disgusting, low brain cell debates I've seen in the anime sphere ever. It's absolutely nuts. So that's something I want to talk about in the next week or two.
This clip was taken from Midnight's Edge in the Morning, which streams live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on the Midnight's Edge main channel. There you can send in your live questions and comments before clips and full stream replays are uploaded to Midnight's Edge live archives. We are also on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey and Facebook, so smash that like, help share, subscribe and join us.